Good morning and welcome to the Wicked Good Golf Show. I'm your host, Steve Scott, along with my playing partner, Jimmy the Bomber Bombard. And today we're going to talk about the U.S. Open. We're going to give our golf tip, which is on
the right arm.
The right arm. And then we're also going to see if we can get through the segment of putting together the whole thing. I'm going to be the demo, and Bomber's going to take me through that whole process in terms of getting your golf swing to that point, because we've gone through a lot of the preliminary parts of the golf swing and making sure that somebody can actually put that together and see what that looks like. But, today, this is coming up. We've got about a week before the U.S. Open, and in fact, it is probably one of the highlights of the summer, the U.S. Open. It is America's championship, and the longest day has just happened. And in case you don't know what the longest day is, that's qualifying for the U.S. Open at many different sectional qualifying sites around the country. About 58 spots or 57 spots were up for grabs in these qualifying sectionals. But what makes the U.S. Open so special?
Here's what you use the word open, okay, and it is open. That's the beauty of it. It really is open. There's 58 guys that can come from anywhere and qualify for that tournament.
It's different than any other professional sport out there.
Most of them you're locked in. You'll be a member of the PGA Tour or whatever, but that is the U.S. Open reserves those spots, 58 spots, for anyone that obviously has the ability to actually make it to the U.S. Open.
Yeah, could you imagine, trying to play NBA basketball or NFL football, being a regular guy and stuff like that?
Qualify for the
qualify for the Super Bowl. Yeah, that doesn't happen, but it happens for, probably the most prestigious championship in U.S. golf is the U.S. Open.
Absolutely, and it's very, very exciting. I only tried one time in my career. Yeah. And you go to a local qualifying, and then you make it to one of these regionals that happened yesterday. And the first time I did it was at New Seabury Country Club down the Cape, and I shot. Well, long story short, last hole's a par 4. Right. I made an 8. And I still qualified. I had a good round going. The wind was blowing like 40 miles an hour.
And that was a local qualifier?
Yeah, to make the first stage.
So you have to make, to get into that sectional qualifier, you have to go and play pretty good golf, golf to get into that.
I think there's like 100 players for like 4 spots.
100 players for 4 spots in these local qualifying events, and then you go to the sectional.
And then you pick what sectional, if you qualify, what sectional you'd go to. So the one I picked was down in, actually it was in New York, outside of Westchester County. Okay. And the reason I went there, a lot of tour players there, but that's the one that has the most spots. Right. So, if there's 10 spots, then that's the one you want to go to, as opposed to the one that has 2 spots and has, less players.
And that's interesting because you have different sectional qualifiers where they have more spots than others.
And how many spots are at each event, exactly.
And most like this year, right outside, obviously, because of the locale, the Columbus, Ohio area had, I think it was 8 or 9 spots available for that particular qualifier. But it is one of the most special things. Now, you tried to qualify. You went to the sectionals?
Went down to the sectionals.
What was that experience like?
To me, it was nothing I had ever experienced before. I mean, I've played a lot of tournament golf up till then, but there was something about that, and also because of the facilities we were at. Sure. One of the golf courses was called Montami Country Club, and the other one was called Knickerbocker Country Club. And the thing I remember most when I went and played the practice round was how fast these greens were. Yeah, they were. I had never experienced anything like that.
What were they probably running on? 12?
I'd say a little more than 12.
12, 13? Yeah,
I thought so.
And that's
yeah, so it was fun, and then for me to be around, like I remember on the putting green, putting with Fuzzy Zeller, because that year, Fuzzy's 10-year exemption had ran out when he won the Open. Yep. But it also happened to be the year that he
made those interesting comments
at the Masters after Tiger won the Masters. And the funny story about that is when I was on the putting green, my dad asked for my hat. He says, "I'll go have Fuzzy sign your hat." Right. So he went over, and then there was a bunch of press following Fuzzy because it was a pretty hot two things. One, because of
Today,
what
yeah.
he did at the
Right.
Masters, and also because of his 10-year exemption. He's
Right.
back qualifying for the Open.
Right.
And my dad went off, and then I heard a big roar, laughter, and he came back, and I said, "What did you do? Right? What did you do to me?"
Because if you
And,
know your dad is the kind of guy
and
who
there's a
might-
lot of people watching the show that know my dad.
and would say some interesting
he,
things.
he
so.
said, as Fuzzy was saying, he said, "Hey, Fuzz, by the way," he said, "I tried them collard greens. He said, those are pretty good." And Fuzzy, without blinking, just said, "Hey, pal," he said, "I don't know who you are," he said, "but you got to watch what you say around these reporters. They can't take a joke." So that was kind of the piece to that.
And obviously Fuzzy, he got into some significant
He got in some trouble.
difficulties.
Yeah, he got in some trouble
with that. And unfortunately, regardless of where you come down on that, not something that you really want to make a joke of or make light of. As Sergio has found out as well too, because he's made that comment.
Yeah,
similar comment.
Similar. But the rest of the story is I got paired with Buddy Marucci. Now, does that name ring a bell?
Not really.
Buddy Marucci's a journeyman amateur golfer.
Yeah.
Very good, one of the top amateur golfers at the time in the country. Matter of fact, one of his claim to fame is he lost to Tiger Woods in the finals of the U.S. Amateur down at Newport Country Club.
Because no offense, Steve Scott had lost to, not me, but the others had lost to Tiger as well.
Yeah.
So I now have lost to Tiger.
Exactly.
But Buddy Marucci had lost to him early. The first, was that the first one?
Sure.
So
I think that was the second one, I think.
Okay.
I'm not real
because
positive.
he won 3 in a row.
Yeah. I think it might have been the second one, but I'm not real positive, and I can't really answer that with clarity. But and the thing with him was, playing with him, he neither one of us played very well. But one thing I did notice about him, from 100 yards and in, anytime he was 100 yards and in for 36 holes, he got it up and down. I'd never seen it. Me and my dad were like in awe watching this guy around the greens.
100 yards, and that's where you score.
He ended up beating me by a couple shots, and but it was mostly from there. I mean, I hit the ball a lot better than he did, but he was way more proficient around the greens than I was.
He was able to score.
Incredible. Incredible.
And maintain that momentum going forward.
So you could see if he ever got his long, and obviously when he gets both of them going together, that's when he's really, and he was really, really good player.
Now, before we go to break, one of the things about playing in the U.S. Open is the amount of rough that is going to be up. They've grown the rough up significantly at Marion Country Club.
Yep.
And that's going to be part of that storyline. They're going to have to drive the ball well.
Yep.
To be able to score well. They're going to have to use their driver as well. They can't just, unless Tiger decides to use his 5-wood.
And to go back to what you asked me why it was so special, what I did realize, even though it was the only time I ever tried it, I said, you know what, I forget what the score that made it. Was it 2 or 3 under or something for 36 holes?
Yeah.
And I looked at my dad, I says, I could do, anyone could do this. You could do it. You could actually go down there, play well, and make the U.S. Open. So that was really the thing about it.
And that's what some of the young kids are doing now. You get a lot of amateurs, high school kids who are making the U.S. Open. Bo Hostler did that last year.
Yeah.
And you have a number of guys who are doing that as well. So when we come back, we're going to get into our golf tip, and that's about the right arm or the left arm.
Your left arm.
My left arm. So we'll be back with more Wicked Good Golf Show right after this.